Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Keegan. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to hit the subscribe button and leave your opinions down in the comment section. Globelamp. Stardust. Globelamp is the solo alias of Elizabeth LaFay, who is an indie singer and songwriter who I have reviewed an album of hers on my channel previously, which was her sophomore album, The Orange Glow, which that video got fantastic reception. Thank you all so much for that. If you haven't seen that review, I'll leave a card up in one of the corners so you can go check it out. I was probably going to get to this album at some point, but this viewer suggestion, which came from that video, is asking me to cover her debut album, Stardust, which was released in 2014, which is what this video is for. Before this review starts, I know Globelamp has another album out, Romantic Cancer. Should I check that one out? Leave a comment below, let me know. It may be a bit for me to get to it though, as I'm a little bit behind on reviews. This album was released by a fairly small label, Gazelle Recordings, and was originally an EP before adding some extra tracks and just calling it an album. Let's see how good of a debut album it is as I review it track by track. Let's start with the opener, Breathing Ritual, the biggest hit from this album, which has this very otherworldly feel as most other Globelamp songs I've heard have. She still has that bit of a British inflection in her voice at this time, but for some reason it seems a lot more genuine and honest than on The Orange Glow. The drum work and guitar feel very drowned out, even her voice as well, which really seems like the song was recorded in some sort of cave that has a lot of echo. The music video for this song feels very free-spirited and careless, and when paired with the music, it's actually quite relaxing. Fantastic song, check this one out. Warrior opens up with a bit more of an acoustic touch with a relaxing acoustic guitar as the only part of the instrumental for a good third of the song, before it picks up a little bit in tempo. Globelam's voice is rather soothing and calm this time. Lyrically, we get this concept about this fear of growing and how the years change who we are and where we stand, almost feeling like looking back on the past, but in a slightly negative way. It's a 5.5 minute song, however. It's a bit too long for my liking. I think it could have easily been just as poignant at just above the 4-minute mark, but it's still a nice song. Daddy's Gone has almost a 60s country twang to it. It really reminds me of something that Creedence Clearwater Revival would have done, especially with these nice chugging electric and acoustic guitars playing in separate ears, which is a very unique effect. The song undergoes a very weird feeling around the halfway mark, where it feels like it's about to fade out and end, but it just gets on that fine line to where it doesn't, and then it just picks up in power right after with some harmonica thrown in there as well. This is a very one-of-a-kind song, and also one that I'm completely into. It's definitely an album standout. Krystal has a bit more of an ominous feel to it, which I personally think suits Globelamp's style a lot more. The guitar feels like it has a lot of blues influence attached to it, and the drums are extremely in the background. It's actually hard to tell if they're even there sometimes. Lyrically, it's kind of all over the place, but there is this faint idea about being lost at sea and carrying these memories in pockets, such as crystals or lockets. The song is nearly 5 minutes long, but it stays engaging the whole way through, and I think I'm going to keep this one around. Sunflowers is where the album starts to get to this point where the songs become indistinguishable and generic. This song really doesn't stand out in any way to me except for the elegant piano melody. Globelamp's vocals on this song are fairly generic, just a little bit higher pitched than Warrior, even having a similar melody overall. Lyrically, we get a lot of nature references about sunflowers, blackberry bushes, thorns, streams. It's good to see a nice consistent topic. It does seem like there was this underlying concept about people being the sunflowers and how they grow taller than her. Maybe, honestly, I may be stretching the truth, but it's a nice idea to think of. Musically, however, I don't think it's unique enough to engage me. Not a bad song, but it's just the closest to filler that we get. Crocodile, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, is a wonderful song. There's a lot of new bizarre elements, the primary one being Globelamp's voice, which is also extremely in the background for most of the song. But it's also one of these times where there is very little effect onto it, like that ethereal sound she usually adds to her voice is completely gone. So it feels a lot more raw. Also, the instrumental is quite hypnotizing with this acoustic guitar and the shimmering chimes as well. While it is lyrically repetitive, everything else is just so captivating, so this one's definitely a keeper. Casino Song, the longest song on this record, just getting past 5.5 minutes. This song is a dice roll for me. Sometimes I'll enjoy it, sometimes the length gets to me, but there are some lovely parts to this song. For one, Globelamp's voice is all natural again, and she gets some fantastic vocal performances, which I think is awesome. Also, the song changes in tempo and style several times, which I also like. Sometimes the drums are heavier, sometimes the guitars overpower everything. It's never boring. I do think that the song overall is more engaging than a chore, so I'll probably keep this one around. It's a nice song. Presence, the shortest song on this album, may actually be my favorite here, and not just due to the length. This is the standard Globelamp formula, some haunting effects to vocals, and rather shrill but still enjoyable acoustic guitar. But her vocal melodies on this song exceed all others. For some reason, this melody just holds me and doesn't let me go, and I adore every second of the song. Easily my favorite from this album, and if I'm being honest, probably my favorite Globelamp song to date. It's just such a relaxing moment and gets me in a happy mood. Very good song. Time Warp is a bit of a slower cut from this album, no real uplifting melody, just a surprisingly melancholic acoustic guitar. Also, there's a male voice doing backup on this song, which I believe is producer and member of Foxygen, Sam France, but I may be wrong, I'm not quite sure. This album did come out before the whole incident, so it's very possible. Anyway, aside from that, overall, it is a bit lackluster compared to the rest of this album. It just feels a bit drab and dull when stood up against some of the better cuts here, so this is a pass for me. Witch House is a little bit bizarre for me. For one, the mixing and mastering of the song feels pretty off. I don't know if it was meant to sound like this, but to me, the instrumentals sound like demos while Globelamp's voice sounds properly up to pitch, a very weird effect. Almost like it was recorded on a phone. It does have a nice melody and a kind of grungy, made in a garage sort of feel to it. It definitely has the strongest rock influence of any song on this album. But this whole effect that goes on, I just don't like it. It doesn't feel finished. This one's not for me, easily my least favorite. And finally, the closer, Constant as the Calling, definitely brings us to the end of the album on a very positive note. Another traditional Globelamp song, lovely acoustic guitar, a bit more of a direct vocal performance which is really captivating, along with a very unsteady tempo which really sounds nice on this song. Lyrically, it's a bit strange about naming children after beautiful things to remind them of how beautiful they are, which is actually pretty sweet. Glad we ended this album positively. This one's pretty good. Overall, I can definitely say that I like this album more than the Orange Glow. It has a lot more keepers on it, but on the other hand, the lows of this album are, in my opinion, are a bit lower than the Orange Glow. This album has a lot more relaxing, chill, vibing songs than the Orange Glow, which at times felt a lot more convoluted and complicated, but this was definitely a step up. I'm glad I took a listen to this, and I recommend all of you to give it a shot. I'm feeling about a 7 out of 10 on this album. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that review. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.